Hello, everyone, and welcome to Make More Love, Not War. I'm here with my lovely friend Amy, and we are doing our last installment of the series of talking about the Ho'oponopono prayer. And today we're talking about gratitude. Welcome to the show again, Amy. I'm so glad to see you.
Hi, Terah. Thank you. I love to be here on your show. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, and I love having you. I'm always grateful to talk to you because I just feel so good afterwards. It's just such, like it's such a great synergy we have. Love it.
Yes, we sure do have that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we do. It's so funny. Like there's always some occurrence where this time I texted Amy and she had been, and I've been thinking about her all morning, and then I texted her about the show, and then she had been thinking about me all morning as well. And so it's just nice to have that connection. It's rare.
I checked I was going to text you. So when I checked my text and there was a text from you right there sitting waiting for me, I'm like, oh, wow, nice. I don't
Yeah,
even have to text you now.
perfect. Yep. I just felt it. I knew it was coming. So Amy, if you will go over the Ho'oponopono, the tenets of the prayer, and then we're going to talk about the last one today. If you'll just go over the earlier ones for those who are just tuning in for the first time or need a review.
Okay. So the Ho'oponopono prayer or the 4 steps to healing is I'm sorry, I forgive, I love you, and I thank you. So these are the 4 steps to healing to yourself or to the others. So you can say, if it's to yourself, you say, I'm so sorry this happened to me, and then I forgive myself for whatever happened as I was acting the best I know how at the time with my awareness at the time. And then you say, I thank you to myself for, being strong and being able to um, be able to go through the hardship. So, and I love myself. And then at last you say, I thank you for this gift or for the lessons I learned. So for others, if you're toward someone else, you say, hey, I'm so sorry for what you've gone through, and then I forgive either you or me or whoever, or you can forgive whoever that caused that pain. And then you say, I love you just the way you are, unconditionally, good and bad and everything in between. And then you say, I appreciate you for being who you are or being in my life. So those are the things that's very easy, very simple, but you really meditate on it, it's healing. So
Yeah, it's just as you were saying it to me, I'm just feeling a wash in oxytocin, serotonin, a little just hearing you say, I love you just for who you are. I know we're not doing love today, but I just love the loved one. But that just makes me feel good to hear it just as you're saying it. So hopefully, all the listeners hearing that will also feel the love coming from that.
yeah, and I really love the way you say wash, the word wash. It's almost very cleansing for us to have the Ho'oponopono. It's almost like, okay, let's leave the past behind us. Let's live in the now. Let's go looking forward from this point on. So I let go. Basically, I release, I let go, whatever pain and, you know, things that hold on that's causing me the suffering. I let go and I wash it away. Now I'm clean slate. I face my day with gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah, and being able to feel and express that gratitude and be able to express it in a connecting manner is another way to complete the stress response cycle. As the research that I've done of on Emily Nagoski's research, who she just was interviewed by Brene Brown. So you should check that interview out. It was an amazing one. But she talks a lot about completing the stress response cycle and about how we hold all the things that happen to us in our lives, whether it's just stressful driving in traffic kind of things, all the way to traumatic experiences. We hold them in our bodies, and we have to do something to release that. So that's what that brought up for me, thinking about gratitude as a way to complete the stress response cycle.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So, what I heard, what I understood just the other day is that the frequency wise, gratitude and love are at the same high frequency. So, to me, that was very enlightening to hear that, because I always like love is the highest frequency. And then you hear, different emotions have different frequencies, right? So, there's, the guilt and the the sadness on the lowest one, and anger is kind of a little bit above, but love and gratitude, and they are very high on top. And for me to hear gratitude and love are all about the same high frequency, that's kind of to me it's reassuring, because I always think um, gratitude is a breath out, love is breath in. So you breathe in love, you absorb it, you sit with it, and then you breathe out gratitude, being thankful. So it's like one is in breath, one is out of breath. Breath out.
I love that. And so there it is in your 6 feet around you, that energy of gratitude and love. You're surrounding yourself with it. And gratitude, when you express gratitude, you release serotonin, and you, dopamine. Yes. You release dopamine and you release serotonin. And with love, serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine, right? And I think oxytocin also, because gratitude affects the hypothalamus, I think oxytocin also is released with gratitude. But the most of the research I saw said dopamine and serotonin.
Yeah, I think oxytocin does when people show their appreciation to you, especially if you're the female. If somebody's telling you, hey, thank you for, being very specifically, did such and such for me, it really brightened my day. For a female, especially, our oxytocin would get a kick, and that kick up, and that's a feel good hormone, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely my favorite feel good hormone to feel. I am like a super cuddler.
Me too.
Yes, and so one of the most difficult things about COVID for me has been the lack of physical touch, right? Because there's just not as much oxytocin release, because I love a good hug.
Yes, yes, I do too. So
Yeah.
hug myself.
Right? I know. I've been having Jeff just like lay on me at night. Like just lay on top of my body. Like I need that input. It feels good. I need Temple Grandin's squeeze machine. That's what I need.
Yeah, there you go. I'll give you the remote hug right now.
I know, the energetic hug. Yes, I really love being in person with you, Amy, but I definitely can still feel the connection with you even through Zoom.
Thank you.
And I'm really grateful for that, talking about gratitude. I mean, I know this has been expressed many times, but I'm just going to express it again. And during this period of time when we feel so disconnected from other people, I have been able to achieve great connection with people online. I'm seeing all of my clients online, and it's not the same as being in the same room, but it still feels really good. And I think that we have learned to adapt and get the connection the way that we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, we're more graduating from the 3D to the 5D. This COVID is helping us to elevate our connecting through energy field versus physical field.
Yes, absolutely. So I did a craniosacral session with our friend Jana from Moon Healing Arts, and online. And it was just as powerful as if she had her hands on me. It was really amazing. And so, yeah, it's challenging us to be able to extend our energy fields, because even though you're in your house and I'm here, I can still feel you. And I don't think that I was able to do that before with online stuff.
Well, the thing what I understand is our five senses is how we learn to interpret energies, right? So, different frequencies with different energies. So ever since we were born, we are tuned in, we learn how to use our senses to interpret the energy that is. But there are so many other senses available there. If you look at animals, they have more senses, or they are more in tune with different frequencies than we are able to perceive. So, when you are lacking one thing, it hones another skill in another area. So, in a way, not being able to touch and feel, you know, like a blind person, maybe they are able to, see with their hands even better. Maybe we are, tuning in. We are tuning another, maybe our sixth sense, or the ability to kind of like, you know, feel the energy around us, telepathically. Maybe that's increasing our telepathic abilities, which we see in Star Wars, Star Treks, and all that. And I won't be surprised, people can sense more nowadays because we don't physically touch as much.
Yeah, so it's really a matter of being able to tune into that other sense, like the third eye in yoga, you
Yes.
know? Um, and I again, something else thinking about gratitude. I've been really grateful for yoga. And one type of gratitude to have is gratitude for adversity from what you learn from it. And I've been having since 2016 a lot of different health problems, and a lot of them stem from stress. Big surprise, right? And I was forced because when COVID hit and lockdown happened and all of that kind of stuff, like many people, I had a lot of outlets for the things that I needed sensory wise for myself to be balanced. And a lot of those outlets were just removed. Things that I went outside to get massage and craniosacral therapy and different things like that. And so I had to find other outlets. And I've been like, told my clients for years, do yoga, because I know the benefits cognitively, but I was not doing it because I was not taking the time. But then I was forced to take the time for myself. And doing this one video by Adrienne on YouTube, who is awesome, and it's called Yoga for Flexibility, has been so amazing for me. And energetically feeling that other people are in the world are connected to me because we're all doing yoga. And a lot of people do yoga with Adrienne. Like a lot of people who do yoga, if they do it online, they know who this person is, which I just discovered. She's been around for years. But that's been a really cool experience.
Yeah, exactly. When we talk about gratitude, it is so easy to be grateful when things are going well, right? And the hard part, the challenge part is to be grateful when things are not going as well. And in a lot of ways, having gratitude when things are not going well is the tool that actually dig people out of feeling miserable or not feeling well. So, you know, it's a challenge to feel the gratitude or find things to be grateful during hard times because it's so easy to focus on the negative.
Mm-hmm.
But, to dig ourselves out of from the slump, we really do need to have gratitude and to find that silver lining in the cloud and to almost concentrate on it and magnify it while we can, you know, more ignore or not look at as much as a negative aspect. We talked about feeding the wolf, I think a couple of sessions ago. You have the white wolf, you have the black wolf. Which wolf do you feed is the wolf that actually grows stronger, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
feed the white wolf the gratitude, the good things, if you believe in law of attraction, then the things that you appreciate will come to you more and more. So that's what I feel.
Yeah, and I think the thing is you can recognize that the situation you're in sucks, but it's really about finding meaning. And David Kessler, he worked on the stages of grief with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And so Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is no longer with us. David Kessler is. David Kessler lost his son to a drug overdose. And after that experience, which of course was obviously very awful and devastating for him, he was able to find meaning in the loss of his son because of what he learned from that. And so he actually created a fifth stage of grief that's or sixth stage of grief that's called Finding Meaning, and just recently came out with a book on it. And when I think of gratitude through adversity, I think about finding meaning in what you're
Mm-hmm.
going through,
Mm-hmm.
and how that you can have gratitude for the meaning you find through it.
Yeah. So, there's this thing that's empowering, even through, people goes to therapy and stuff. So the therapist will, I'm sure you will know this better than me, but they'll, kind of get the client to talk about their feelings and, let it come out and to feel the emotions in their physical body. And at the end, she or he will pose a question. So where is the lesson in this, or why do you think this happened to you, or what exactly, what kind of meaning can you bring from this experience? So, I think our human life, if some people think it's a classroom or, a lesson, a test to graduate, go to another, each experience is a, trial, a test, then the question, the finals question would be, hey, what did you learn from this? What nuggets did you gain from this experience, albeit it is difficult, it was, painful, but, you know, has it made you stronger? Have you seen things from different view? How has this enriched your life going forward?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think also about a book that I read early on, thinking about therapy, a book that I read early on in becoming a therapist, and maybe it was even in high school, but it's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And Viktor Frankl survived the Holocaust, and he developed a type of therapy that's called logotherapy. And it's an existentialist type of therapy, but it also is looking at what's real, and but it's also offering hope through the darkest moments, and that is all about finding meaning in the darkness. And I'm just always amazed at what he brought out of this experience and the gratitude he had for going through what he went through, because it created logotherapy and it created this book that has helped so many people.
Yeah. Yeah, you look at, these people that's been jailed and still can find forgiveness, can still find gratitude, and, you wonder how they gone through it, but the reason they gone through that trial versus some other people who did not make it so well is because they have that, you know, gratitude. They were able to see, the silver lining. It's a lot of times, I think, between feeling miserable versus feeling, I wouldn't say good, but accepting your circumstances and have hope is the perspective. How we see things, how we persuade our own self, what this circumstance is meaning for us. Or, sometimes you have to see, hey, this is temporary, this too shall pass. And that's from a perspective a different perspective, different lens, and then you have hope. Then you're able to, take one step at a time. It's never easy, especially if you're going through grief. Every day,
Mm-hmm.
could seem to be, there's no tomorrow, but have have the hope, be able to, when I was going through a really tough time in my life, when I was working through grief, what I have learned is, I started walking, and that really literally, saved my mental state, because just being outside in nature, and you're just so thankful that the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and, the leaf right now is turning all sorts of beautiful colors. And it almost, things that's happened in your life, you can, just forget for that moment where you're appreciating, a little wormhole on the leaf and seeing how beautiful it is, something as minuscule as that, or have the breeze, how the breeze is kissing your face, or, how the flower is smelling, just for that moment, the now moment, that you lay down all your burdens, all the sadness, and you go, oh, wow, nature is beautiful, nature is healing. And then it's almost like self-healing, step by step, every day when in my darkest time, every day I made a ritual to go walk outside. And I know for there was somebody said, if for people who has depression, if they actually go for walks under sunny day, in sunny day, a lot of times it really helped them,
Mm-hmm.
a great deal, us, so I just feel, for me, what in tunes with me is nature. Of course, everybody's different. Find something that you can show yourself that you're loved. you
Yeah.
know you can, hug yourself. You can make yourself a tea. You can, maybe do certain exercise you love. Just do something that just for you, that nurtures you, even at the hardest time.
Yeah. Give yourself that permission to feel pleasure.
Yes, yes. And sometimes it's hard, especially with guilt. You don't feel like don't deserve anything good. When you're going through the darkest moment of feeling that worthlessness, or feeling that, something you did wrong, or, the guilt and shame, you feel like you don't deserve anything good happen to you. It's almost like self punishment,
Mm-hmm.
but during those times, it is so important, to just find something that warms your heart. And then, and tell yourself, hey, I'm worth it. And, the decision I made, or whatever happened to me, I made it with the best intention, or with the tool that I had in my pocket, the best I could have at the time, and then, of course, go hand in hand forgiveness. And then you appreciate that the littlest thing in your life, maybe your health, you're still able to walk, or, maybe you're still able to do things, function, you know, yeah.
Yeah. And something that you just brought up that I like is uh, knowing that you did the best you could with the tools that you had. And Brene Brown said, and she put this on Facebook, and there were a lot of responses to it, pretty reactionary from some people, is what it is. She made the statement that we're all doing the best we can. And exploring this with somebody, she came up with another way to explain it, which is basically just being able to accept our own limitations. And I'm thinking about how for you, being able to be in nature and express gratitude for the consistency and constant connection of nature, being able to see, even though I feel this way, there's this huge thing that I'm connected to that's so much larger than me that I can be a part of, that can embrace and love me, like Mother Earth, and the connection to that. And I came across this quote about gratitude today, and it was talking about how in ancient philosophies and culture, people were talked about gratitude and the benefits of it, but didn't really understand the neurobiological benefits of it. But they called it, Cicero called it the mother of all emotions.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah. So you're talking about nurturing
Yeah.
and mother.
Right. And exactly. It's like, you know, sometimes when you walk outside in the sun, this is one of the things I thought about, when the sun shines on you, it shines on everybody, right? It doesn't discriminate what mistakes you made, what your past is. It doesn't shine more on one person, it shines less on another. It doesn't shine on a beautiful flower more than it shines on a falling leaf on the ground that's, brown and, black. It shines on everything. It gives unconditional love to everything. So when you walk outside, even if you are carrying some kind of sadness or guilt or, anything like that, when the sun shines on you, you actually feel this unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness and unconditional acceptance. So, that's just beautiful. And you start to feel that for yourself. You know, uh, some people talk about, how I know the Indian or Asian society, they talk about karma.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, if I did some bad things in this life or past life, I'm going to get punished, and, I'm going to have all this bad things happening to me. But I don't think, for me, it's like the karma, I think it's the realization of our imperfections that you try to hide from the sun, because I feel that the universal love is all encompassing. It doesn't really discriminate um, what a person did or a person didn't do, because in the end it's all lessons, what we learn and how we advance, how we ascend. um, and then some people feel guilty, so they hide from the sun, so they can step out from the shade anytime and just be authentic, be real, and all is forgiven. It's almost like I guess a Bible story, right?
Prodigal son? Is that what you're thinking of?
No, I'm
No,
talking
I
about
don't.
Garden of Eden,
Oh, gotcha.
where there is people, they think they have sinned because they cover themselves
Uh
up.
huh.
So covering yourself up literally is hiding from the light, from the unconditional love, because you feel so guilty whatever you did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, for me, it's like the karma or whatever is that you recognize. So that's the intelligence that the fruit, the apple, you kind of, you realize, you recognize, hey, I have sinned or I did something wrong. Then you start hiding from that, the sun, or from the godly love.
Yeah.
But
So you're talking about
meanwhile,
shame. You're talking
yeah,
about shame and how destructive shame is.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the universal love is always shining on you. It doesn't, you already have been forgiven. You already, you are whole as, the universe had made you, right? So if you don't have that shame or guilt, then you will step out, fully naked and still be receiving the gratitude or the gifts, the abundance, as you would in the Garden of Eden. So, that's my view of it. So the apple, the recognition of our I guess sin, perceived sin, or perceived imperfection. It's what's holding us back or from receiving this, unconditional universal love that's everywhere.
Yeah, and that's really the power of vulnerability, right? Is to be able to know that all of the parts of you are loved and accepted. And you can do that for yourself, and you can also receive that. And I'm also thinking about vulnerability and gratitude in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And in my work with couples, I use two methods, the Gottman method and Imago, and both of them are really strong on creating a culture of gratitude and a culture of appreciation. Because when you're doing that, when you're sharing appreciation and gratitude with each other, I'm sharing gratitude with you and I'm releasing serotonin and dopamine. And so then I'm pairing you, Amy, with these really feel good feelings that I'm releasing right now. And I think of you naturally more positively. And you're receiving this gratitude from me. You're releasing the same chemicals and you're pairing me with something positive. So I think that often in relationships, because life gets busy, etc., we forget to take that time to be in a culture of appreciation and gratitude. And it's funny, I just got a text right before this podcast, and it was from one of my friends, Micah, who's one of the Shameless Rebels in my Shameless Sexual Revolution show. And I'd given her a plant for her birthday, and she sent a picture, and she just said, "I appreciate your friendship so much." And I just got like this nice little dopamine hit right before I came into this podcast with you talking about appreciation and gratitude. And that I think if we all realize the what that really does for our bodies, I think maybe we will be more intentional about expressing gratitude and making it a practice in our lives. So I wanted to go over a little bit of the physiological benefits of gratitude. And also and this benefits couples as well. Like I mentioned, it's definitely more connecting and releasing of the feel good chemicals. But so the social benefits of gratitude are that when we are expressing gratitude to each other, we naturally are going to be able to develop more empathy, because when you're in the state of gratitude, like you said, Amy, you're not in a place of shame. You're allowing yourself to receive, so therefore you can have that empathy for yourself and give it to others, which creates stronger interpersonal relationships, and just being more involved in connection. All of these things are releasing those feel-good chemicals of serotonin and dopamine. And they're also regulating the hypothalamus, which the hypothalamus plays a big part in sleep and wake cycles. It plays a big part in appetite, sex, drive and desire, blood pressure and heart rate, body temperature, balancing bodily fluids, digestive juices. So it's a whole body experience to be in a state of gratitude. And so I just think that's really amazing, because if you look at so many of the diseases that we have, so many of them are stress related, because our adrenal glands are not regulated. We're producing so much cortisol and all of this stuff. And so being in a place of gratitude literally puts you in a physiological state of health and connection. So I just think that's really amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. When you're talking about, oxytocin and all that, I remember that, for man, all I think being grateful or express it in a way that is not it's specific. Let's say you have to, when you express a gratitude, it's not just like, oh, thanks, or or you look great or something like that, but more specific. Like when we write a thank you note, you don't just say, oh, thank you, and for da da da. You say, well, thank you specifically for this, and it helped me in my life, or it uplift in my day, or I use your gift card to buy such and such, which brought me so much joy. Be more specific. If I look at my kids, I'm like, oh, I'm really grateful to you for, really taking the dishes and stack it up really nicely. Just not superficial, but going into the details of why, you are grateful for what they did. And that really, boost, in females, boost oxytocin, and in males actually boost testosterone. So in a couples relationship, when people can't express using words of affirmation how much they appreciate what you did or whatever, actually it does improve, people's relationships and, and sex life,
Mm-hmm.
especially for women. We know that with increased oxytocin, we are more open, to intimacy. So, and it's not just saying a nice thing, just to get something, but however, if you're genuine, you're expressing your gratitude for this person, and it's just elevate us. So there's one word I heard the other day I think is really appropriate for this session that we're having. It's to appreciate is to appreciate. So to appreciate, I mean to be grateful is to appreciate. Appreciate, it's like your property, your estate, your house, appreciating value. So your marriage appreciate in value, or in how good it is. So
Mm-hmm.
when you appreciate, whatever you appreciate appreciates in, increasing value. So
Very true.
I love that. So I'm like, it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Um, a while back, I got to interview Helen LaKelly Hunt and Harville Hendricks, who created Imago Therapy. And Helen told this funny story, and I resonated with it because I've done the same thing. And so I think other people can too. But she was like, I thought I was being helpful and I had all these skills as a therapist. And so I was always trying to improve Harville's life by letting him know what he could do better. Right? So she was just really trying to, help him out, help him grow, give him interpretations of things, and help him improve. But she's like, and yes, I resonate with that. I've done that before too, which is why it's not a good idea to try to be a therapist to your husband. No, not my role. But then she said she realized that that's not what he wanted for me. He wanted that encouragement for me. And so when she realized that, they started this practice, and this is what works for them, but we can all find whatever works for us. But they started a practice of before bed, when they used to engage in conflict, because she would be telling him things that he could improve upon throughout the day. And he did not like that. They decided to share 3 appreciations each from the day about each other and be very specific about the things of that particular day that they noticed and appreciated. And so, again, thinking about how, busy everybody is and stuff. And so you might not be able to say the thing when it comes into your mind because maybe you're not with your partner or your loved ones. To be able to find a time and create a ritual of connection in which you can express gratitude for that specific day, every day.
That is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really nice. Like, I don't know, I think it's in my culture. I don't know if it was, but I have gotten a owl for my wedding.
An owl?
An owl, like the toy, the
Like the bird?
bird owl,
Like a real
the
owl?
no, no, not a real one,
Oh,
but
I'm like,
the
I love owls. I'm all excited.
ceramic owls.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Gotcha.
you know how owls have like one eyes open? There you go. But the ones you get is one eyes open, one eyes closed.
Okay.
So meaning is like you don't want to see everything so clearly. You want to close your eyes to the imperfection of that person, but you want to open the eye to the good, wonderful things that person do for you. So it's really cool because owls are very wise too.
Mm-hmm.
Being a wise owl, you keep your one eyes closed, one eyes open. You don't have to see everything crystal clear. You kind of know it, but you don't mention it. You kind of like going back to the white wolf, black wolf thing. You kind of like highlight the good, and you kind of close your eyes. You ignore, the not so great. So, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I love that. I love the symbol of that. And I love owls, so that's awesome. You're gonna have to show me a picture of your owl because I want to get one for myself. But I mean, I love the symbolism in that and what it means for a relationship of of any kind. Of course, we're not going to be doormats or something like that and not pay attention to things that are crossing boundaries. But at the same time, I know that I've found myself doing this of just paying attention, giving more attention to the negative things because that's how our brains are wired as humans to pay more attention to negative things so we can perceive threats. But we can, with the practice of gratitude, you can rewire your neural networks. And the practice of gratitude is also great for anyone that's gone through traumatic events as well because you're creating a stronger neural network of emotional safety than the emotional threat neural network. I just think, I mean, it's just incredibly powerful. You know, I mean, I know we hear a lot of like hashtag bless things and all of that kind of stuff that I feel in a way cheapen how amazing gratitude really is because it, it's not really expressing the deepness of it. And so it kind of feels like we're like it's too common or something like that to not really understand like how powerful it actually is. So I'm glad we're talking about it in this way because um, I love that all of that's out there. I'm not dogging on it because I'm just glad to see that we're recognizing it. But I also think when people see something too much, they may not realize really the complexity of it and why it's so important.
Right, just like love. I love cheeseburger and fries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you too.
Exactly right. Yeah, and then love is such a is the most, I mean, just immense emotion, just like gratitude is, and the two of those are the most powerful emotions to heal anyone.
Yeah. So one thing I really want to, kind of touch on is that gratitude for your children. So this is huge. I think it's huge. Being I sub for school for the school district for fun, and you know I see so much criticism, like almost the culture is like, oh, if you didn't do something right, I'm going to, criticize you and then you will do it right the next time. And I think that paradigm have to change, especially for like kids with ADHD or ADD or anything like that, because they thrive on encouragement. They thrive on, you know, um, knowing what's good that they're doing so they can do more. So when I go in and I told my class, I'm like, hey, the slate is clean. I don't care what you did or what your teacher think of you. You prove yourself, be the best person you can right now. It's everything's clean, everything's washed off. Just, be the person that you want to be. And then whenever they do things, I notice something they do good. They could be doing 10 wrong things, but I'm like, that one thing you did awesome. And I just like really focus on that. And that just, you can see the sparkle in their eyes. Like, they caught me doing something good. Kids love attention. And if you say, hey, guess what I spotted so and so, like pick up some trash from the floor and put in the trash can. That was really awesome. And by hearing that, in front of the whole class, they just like, let me clean up the whole room for you. So, just with the kids, it's just so essential. I have seen so many, both from parents and educators. I understand their days are busy and tiring, and it's just easier to say something that, hey, I don't like this, you need to change that. But, you know, um, sometimes we just have to be more empathetic, and because everybody's having, we don't know what they have to go through, what we don't know what handicap they have. And you just have to kind of like, okay, what can I do to make this person's life a little bit better?
Mm-hmm.
What words can I say? What things that can I do to brighten up, just for a little bit, this person's life? And when you think about that, you kind of like, okay, I need to be that person, that fosters the goodness in him or her. And I think that's so important,
Very true. Yeah, and then
with
especially
that.
as a teacher,
Yeah.
because that's where kids are all day.
Yeah, and parents too, because
Yeah.
you see your kids drastically change if you just notice the good things, because they'll like, okay, let me, you can say, hey, look in their eyes, say, hey, I I spot something really cool you did today, and they're like, whoa,
What is
and
it? Yeah.
yeah, what is it? You tell them, they just like, it's just, hopping away, just being so happy. And um, it really, over time, it changes dynamic between the parents and children, especially during this time. You spend so much time, in the house with your kids, find something positive, find something encouraging that they did, even if it's just a little thing, do that, and see over time how it changes the dynamic.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, being able to talk more about the behavior you want to increase versus the one you want to decrease in a behavioristic term, right? And I think that going back to my lens of relationships between couples, I'm thinking about how safe conversations, which is an approach that was created by Harville Hendricks and Helen LaKelly Hunt. And I've been trained in it and all of this. And one thing that I really like about it, and you can use safe conversations with anyone. They've done with parents and children. So this, they've taught it to teachers. It's been taught to police officers. It's been, I mean, you can use it with any group, with any dyad, with any triad, anything like that. And the basic, the basic format of it is, well, you start with appointment, where you say, is this I'd like to talk to you about this. Is this a good time to talk about this? Because then you're respecting that person's agency to engage in that conversation. And then you make eye contact and you breathe together to co-regulate and to calm each other down and to be associated with the chemicals of feeling calm. And then you express an appreciation. Before you even get into what you want to talk about, you express an appreciation. And I think that just goes a long way to be able to, for people to feel open to hear whatever is coming next. And then what's coming next, the listener mirrors what the other person is saying, they validate what the other person is saying, and they empathize. So it's this whole system of being able to create empathy and understanding, but appreciation and gratitude is a huge component of that. And I think without the appreciation, without the gratitude, it's easy to just go straight into this is the thing that I have a problem with, or this is what hurt me, or whatever. And it's just not as effective.
Hmm. Exactly. It's like the base, it's a sugar before the medicine.
Yeah, exactly. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
Yeah, take the sugar first.
It
um
is.
yeah.
Yeah. I used it yesterday. In fact, my husband and I Jeff and I had a argument that was really triggering to me, and I was having a hard time physiologically soothing from it. And so I made the appointment, and then he reminded me of the appreciation. He's like, and so express an appreciation first. So he was like, I don't know what we're getting into here. And I did. And you know what? Me expressing the gratitude and the appreciation to him before I went into something where I was feeling really emotionally unsafe, I felt more connected and safe with him already just by doing that.
Right, it just calm you down too.
Yeah, yeah, because I was remembering, yes, this person is safe and he loves me, even though we had this argument and something he said really triggered something for me, I felt unsafe in that moment. He's safe. He's a safe
Yes.
person for me. And so again, I think that going back to looking at triggers and trauma and relationships, this is again an example of how healing gratitude is.
Oh yeah, it is. It is so essential. It's the breathing out, of the breathing in.
Yeah, I love that. I love that illustration. You
Yeah.
have to breathe out after you breathe in.
Yes, otherwise you just suffocate.
Yeah. So that's how essential gratitude is.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, and a lot of times, like in Chinese, we talked about before, the breathing and breathing out is breathing out first before you breathing in. So, um, you give gratitude first, then you receive the love. It's almost like counterintuitive. It's like here it's like you receive and then you give. And in Asian countries or with the who she is, like you breathe out, you give, then you receive. That's
Mm.
almost a gratitude too, because being able to give before you receive, it's almost like a, a thankfulness. I remember when I went to the tea ceremony in Japan, I don't know how many of you actually went into a formal tea ceremony. It's one of those things you kind of get to do. So basically, you sit in a circle and they prepare, the really nice, the green tea, the powdered green tea for you, the matcha,
Hmm.
and then you actually the china they serve in the teacup serve in, you rotate it, I think counterclockwise or clockwise 3 times, and you look at it, you appreciate it, you thank the cup before you take a drink,
Hmm.
and then you rotate it back 3 times and you enjoy and look at the cup again, and then you put it down. So it's a ritual. It's a ritual of even appreciate not just human being or not. It's a ritual of appreciating things and being thankful to the things that bring you joy. If any of you did the Marie Kondo stuff, and I don't know if any of the listeners, it's I don't know if you heard about Marie
Oh
Kondo,
yeah,
but
I've yes.
cleaned out the whole house. And but before she let things go, before she let her things go to Salvation Army or something, and she'll, hug it or say thank you to it and appreciate to this piece of, inanimate thing that, came to her life and, brought her the joy. Now she will release it. It's almost it's very cleansing. It's a ritual. It's like letting go. But before you letting go something, you appreciate it. You say thank you.
Hmm.
And most of us don't do that. Most of us like, okay, trash, I'm done with that. I'm going to appreciate what I keep. But this one is you appreciate everything. You appreciate things you don't even want to keep because it came to your life for a reason. And, even the muck in your life, the unhappiness, anything come to your life, before you release it, you give it thanks. You say, hey, thank you for this lesson. Thank you
Yeah.
for why ever you're here. You know, I may not know the purpose at the time. I may not even know now, but someday I will know this purpose. But until then, I appreciate you and I let you go in peace. And I think that is just so incredibly whole and incredibly healing and incredibly um, freeing to me.
Yes. Yeah, to have that gratitude before releasing. And one thing I was thinking of with that as you were talking about that is also um, the Native American practice of expressing gratitude to the animal that they are hunting before eating the animal, and the power in that gratitude for the sacrifice. And um, there is so you already talked about the writing the letter to who you are grateful for, and the power of that. And so the other thing that you're talking about too is being able to have gratitude for how things happened, the thing that you are grateful for, and everything it took to get that thing there. So if you're thinking of the teacup, there are so many steps that it took to get that teacup to your hand, the
Yeah.
person who designed and created, and so much effort. And I remember Jeff mentioning this probably the first time we talked about this, but he was talking about the book, which is called Thanks a Thousand, A Gratitude Journey. It's by A.J. Jacobs. And he goes through everything it took to create the cup of coffee he was drinking. And he thanks all of these people and organizations and all of this stuff. And so if you think of the enormity of what it took just to get that teacup, or what it took just to get, like as you were talking about, as you release things, there was a whole process to create this thing. And so you want to honor that and give it gratitude. And I think that that's beautiful, because there is just the gratitude for like, oh yeah, thanks for my coffee, versus thank you for all of these amazing things that brought this coffee to me. And how amazing is it that we have these things, whatever it is, and I think that that connects you again to that, the enormity of things. I know I've said that word a million times. And to the feeling of wonder that we have as children, of like, wow, how was this thing created?
Yeah. And you feel treasured. You feel blessed. You know, like Jeff said, when we step in the shower, how many people can just turn on a shower and step in the shower and just
Water
be
comes.
nice hot water, take a bath? How many people in the world gets to do that? What process go through, all that, but you kind of like, oh wow, I am just so blessed. Even have, even Oprah Winfrey, she said she appreciate the minute she step in the shower. For a person like Oprah Winfrey, she has everything in the world, yet she appreciates the smallest things, being having hot water, raining on her from her shower, and you like, okay, at that moment, you're like, okay, I am really well taken care of. I'm being treasured. I'm being at where I am, in this lifetime, in this country, in this moment, in this house, in this, place where there is, so much abundance for me that can make me happy. You are in the now moment of enjoying even though things are small, but it's huge. The joy is huge. You feel this, immense blessing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you can access that level of gratitude, then you can carry that feeling of wonder and joy with you all the time when you recognize these little things. And a lot of times, you think, oh, well, when we grow up, we lose that. It's just like that's how children feel. But going back to rewiring your neural networks is you can recreate that yourself for yourself with intentionality.
Yeah. Children are our teachers, didn't they?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've learned a lot from mine for sure.
Yeah. Go back to the wonder, and so yeah,
Yeah.
you can feel when you have gratitude, you can feel this just warmth, this heart opening warmth in your heart. And I think that's, what they're talking about, being of the same or similar frequency as love. You feel the same, different feeling triggers or, exhibits in our body, different places, but I think gratitude and love, you feel in this heart space.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like this, for me, it's this feeling of that. And then there's like a smell associated to it. It's sort of that feeling, the smell of when it's cold outside and you can smell people's fires burning. And then
Mm-hmm.
like another feeling of when you're walking into a warm house from the cold air, or
Yeah.
taking a nap in the warm weather when the breeze is cool and it's just washing over you. And there are all these images that I have around that too. And it's it's being able to be in a magical place and just allow yourself to have that.
Yeah, definitely can associate, smell or, aromatherapy or just feeling or, certain piece of clothing, the way it hugs you, you can feel anything, anything, just the more you can associate different senses to it, the better,
Mm-hmm.
when you feel it. And I think it's just, it's like what you said, it's a foundation of things. And I like the way you said, when before you have a conversation, find something good to say and just lay down this, this beautiful, comfortable place of exchange. You're able to exchange ideas and you are able to see each other as equals and you appreciate. It's almost not as, it's a soul to soul level. It's like namaste,
Mm-hmm.
right? My soul appreciate and sees your soul. It's a namaste for me.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of going back to yoga, thinking of Adrian says, the light in me recognizes the light in you. And yes, that makes sense to me. Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
Well, Amy, I thank you so much for another amazing connecting interview. I mean, I feel like the light in me recognizes the light in you right now and always.
Yes. I loved, doing this series with you. I just, it's been wonderful.
It
Thank
has been. Well, I'm sure we'll think of another one. This is not the end of the road.
you.
So
Okay.
stay tuned. We'll figure something out, I know. Well, thank you again. And
Thank
oh,
you.
and yes, where can people find you if they want to learn more about you and what you're doing?
Okay, the website is, the YouTube channel is Beloved Way. Just uh, Beloved and the WAY, Beloved Way. So, I got my, statement going. So now I'm going to do a series on the eye massage because a lot of kids are staring at the computer all day and adults are staring at the Zoom all day. And there is the acupressure massage for eyes.
Ooh.
So I'm going to go through each posture one at a time each day, and then at the end of fifth and sixth day, I'm going to pull everything together into a 10-minute eye massage, maybe guided eye massage session. So that's my next project. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I need that too because I definitely stare at a screen all day for several days a week. So,
Yeah, I just see kids, if they're not online learning, they are talking to their friends, playing games on the computer, and they're like barely never gets off because that's their social times even because they cannot
yeah, because they can't
on
go out and play.
and it's just so much eye fatigue and eye strain and adults too, they're on the computer all day long. So this exercise is actually been around for 60 or 70 years. And when I was going to school during recess twice a day, we have to just sit and listen and do eye massage as a class twice a day.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
it helps prevent eye fatigue. It prevents, nearsightedness. So
Oh,
it's actually institutionalized, in the schools. Just
really?
so useful, so good. So I kind of want to share with my the people who watches it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that. Macular degeneration runs in my family, so anything I can do to
Yeah.
keep my eyes healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Beloved Way.
Beloved Way, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you again, and all of our listeners. I hope you go watch the YouTube channel and learn more about Amy because she has so much to offer. It's amazing.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you for the work you do and the time you spend on this. I think it helps so many people just to hearing you through the podcasts.
Oh, thank you. I'm receiving that. I love that. Thank you.
Very genuine. We appreciate you.
We do.